Alright, welcome back guys, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm starting a new video idea I've had for a while called Retro Reviews, where I take old episodes of TV shows that I talk about on my channel and do reviews on episodes I haven't done reviews on previously. Starting off, we're going to be doing The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1, Days Gone By. So if The Walking Dead is something you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that bell icon. That way you don't miss any more Walking Dead content from me in the future. Now let's begin. So, we start off the episode with the iconic teddy bear girl scene where Rick is looking for gas after the cop car runs out of gas, and he is walking for the gas station and he runs into the teddy bear girl. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I'm going to start off with a big con I have with the episode right here, is the fact that the girl bends down to pick up the teddy bear. Now, when we first got The Walking Dead, Frank Darabont had a lot of different ideas where he wanted to make the walkers smarter than they were supposed to be, than Robert Kirkman wanted them to be, and he did a lot of these kind of ideas like the teddy bear walker and a few others I'm going to mention in this episode. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Even though that Kirkman was against that, I'm glad they stuck away from it and didn't go down that route, but it breaks continuity, because how come walkers in Season 9 now aren't as smart, if not smarter, than the walkers now? So it breaks continuity issues, but I'm glad that they kind of did that, because Robert Kirkman, like I said, was against that, didn't really like that. Again, though, I think it's a great iconic scene. I just think it should have been done and handled differently, where the girl's just holding the teddy bear and Rick maybe comes across her in the gas station and calls out to her. Here's her growl, and then she turns around. I think that'd be a little bit better. That way it doesn't break continuity, and it just kind of makes the episode a lot better, in my opinion. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great iconic scene, but I think they could have fixed it up and made it a little bit better, in my opinion. Then we go have that flashback, and we get the scene where Rick and Shane are talking in the cop car. Now, when I first saw this, I didn't really like it. But I've watched some other YouTuber called Study the Craft. Check out his channel if you're interested in screenwriting. He's a really cool guy. I really like his channel, and I definitely suggest checking him out. And he mentioned that this scene was put in here due to showing us Rick and his goal, and what his purpose in the show is to look for his family. Now, I don't have a problem with that, and I agree now that this was a much needed scene. But some of the dialogue, I don't know. The dialogue with Shane, I didn't like some of the dialogue with Shane. It came off as a lot sexist and kind of, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I get what they were going for, but personally as a guy, I didn't like it. It came off as just very stereotypical, and I just didn't like that scene with Shane, especially some of his dialogue. It just came off as him being this guy who's just making this big stereotype thing with women. It just, I don't know. I get what they're going for with the Rick thing with him and Lori, and how she said that she doesn't think that he cares about them. I get that. That was all fine. But I don't think that they should have added in that Shane stuff. It just, I don't know. I feel like they could have polished it up maybe a little better. I just think it came off as sexist, and I didn't really like it. But then you got them going off to the police chase. Now, I like that they added in more cops to the scene instead of it just being Rick and Shane. I like how they had, I think it was Leon and Lambert, and they were there with Rick and Shane. I wish they had gotten a little bit more screen time than just kind of being there to kind of throw away later, but I'm happy with what we got. But then you got the car coming, and the tires blow out, and they kind of crash into the field across from them. Now, this is my biggest con with the episode. And maybe it's just me nitpicking, but that car got demolished. And all three of those people, from what we can tell, were able to kind of, to an extent, walk or crawl somewhat away with no injuries and fire a gun right away. That, in my opinion, is unrealistic. That should have never happened on the show. I feel like anyone in a car accident like that would be badly hurt, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to be, running, getting out, and shooting at the cops. I don't know. Maybe it's just me not thinking correctly, but I feel like that kind of is unrealistic in a sense, and just kind of breaks the realism of the show. But then you got the shootout, and of course, as you know, we got that third cop that they didn't know about, shoots Rick, and he goes into his coma. Great stuff. Really enjoyed it. I think they definitely did some good stuff adapting it from the comics and adding things in that weren't in the comics that kind of improved upon this scene. I think it was very well done and well handled. Again, I just think they could have fixed some things up with the realism and just kind of some of the dialogue between Shane and Rick. But then you move to Rick waking up in the hospital. Now, these are some of my favorite scenes from the premiere because I love how, like, when Rick first wakes up, he looks at the flowers that Shane brought him, and he goes out into the hallway. And I just love how they got that post-apocalyptic vibe of the area and how the hospital looks like completely abandoned and there's no one there. The phone lines are dead and just the light flickering in the background was really cool. I love the scenes there, especially the don't open dead inside door. That's become like an iconic scene. Really enjoyed that. And he goes out and heads home, and that's where he first runs into the bicycle girl. Now, I love how they used the bicycle girl from the comics here. It was very well handled. I'm going to get more into that towards the end of the episode. But again, really love what they did here. Some really strong, great stuff. I don't think I have any negatives with the hospital stuff. I think that stuff was handled very well. Brought in some realistic vibes with the scenery and the kind of look of the hospital. So I really like what they did there. Then we got Rick returning home and running into the house. I love that scene where he's on the floor crying, calling out Carl and Lori's name. I love that. Then he goes out and he sees a walker, but he doesn't know it coming down the driveway. And then he gets knocked out. He sees Dwayne. He calls Dwayne Carl. And then as he's blacking out, he sees Morgan shoot that guy, or the walker. Now, I love the scenes of Morgan. I think they used Morgan perfectly, adapting everything that they did from the comics to the show. They were able to use him as exposition, explaining everything to Rick, but they didn't do it in a bad way. They did it in a perfectly realistic and normal way where someone coming out of a coma wouldn't know what's going on. So they used Morgan very well, in my opinion. Even though it was exposition, a lot of his stuff, they used it very well and used him and Dwayne in a good area for the storytelling. But then my one con with this storyline with Morgan was his wife. Now, don't get me wrong, I love that they have the wife and the storyline there similar to the comics. My biggest con, though, is, again, the smart walker. She walks up to the door and jiggles the knob. Now, again, this is my con. Smart walker, remembering where they live, coming back to where they died, and trying to open the door. Unrealistic. I guess you can't say it's unrealistic since it's a zombie show, but from the rules of what we know, it should never have happened. I get frustrated with their Bond stuff here. I get people love him and praise him, think he's one of the greatest person. Personally, I kind of find him a bit overrated and don't really agree with some of the things he tried to do with The Walking Dead, with the smart walkers and doing stuff that I just don't agree with. But again, with Morgan stuff, I very much did enjoy what they did with him and Dwayne, him explaining the rules of the walkers, how you got to kill a brain, and just learning about his personality and who he is, and his relationship with his son. Really well handled. I think Morgan, again, was another shining light in the premiere that helped the show become what it is today. So then we move to Rick leaving, but before he leaves, he goes back to the bicycle girl and puts her down. Now, I love these scenes between him and this bicycle walker. Really, I love them. So well handled, so well done. I don't know, just the emotion in that moment between him just alone looking at the bicycle girl, the first walker kill he's done, and it just was very well done. I really loved what they did there. But then he moves on and he's leaving. Of course, then you get caught up with the timeline. After he looks for gas, he goes and finds that horse at the farm. Now, I like what they did here. Again, it's exposing Rick to the world of The Walking Dead, seeing those people in the house that committed suicide. It was okay, but I feel like they could have tightened it up a bit, and instead of having him just wandering around and then finding the horse, I feel like they could have cut it down a little bit and just had him find the horse. Don't get me wrong, he could have still seen the people in the house, but I feel like they could have tightened it up a bit and give us a tiny bit more, in my opinion, especially the Carl and Lori and Shane stuff that we got a tease of in this episode. I really think they could have cut this scene down a little bit more and give us some more of that. It would have been a little bit better, in my opinion. But then you got, of course, Rick finding the horse, and then he rides into the city of Atlanta, which Morgan told him about the CDC. Really loved this, of course, the iconic scene of him riding into the city. And then, of course, as we all know, he sees the helicopter, gets distracted, and gets cornered by walkers, gets kicked off, and is trying to escape, and ends up in the tank. Again, love how they ended this episode with the suspension filled with him in the tank. He finds this zombified tank guy, and he finds a gun. He's about to commit suicide, and as he's doing that, and of course you got him saying sorry to Rory and Carl. Great emotional scene there, and just as he's about to kill himself, he hears the voice over the radio, "Hey dumbass," one of the best endings, of course, and I just love how they did that. Beautifully handled, and then they pan up and you see the walkers trying to reach him. This will never kind of have, I don't know, maybe it's just me not remembering correctly, but do walkers really like pile on top and do that kind of stuff? I don't know. Some of the things that they're doing, climbing on top of the thing, again, go back to, is this smart zombies or is this regular walkers? This is a question I kind of have. It's just an iffy moment for me where I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this. But again, great episode, great way to end it. Of course, like I said, we got that tease of Rory, Shane, and Carl, and we see Amy for the first time. We see Dale. I really like how they did that with him trying to radio to Atlanta and them and appearing him. It was really well done. I like how they did that tease, and they did that little tease showing Rory and Shane's relationship. Really well handled. I love what they did, and I just think, looking back on The Walking Dead, yes, were there some things I did not like with the premiere episode? Yes. I feel like no matter, even if it's the best episode, they're always going to have a negative. I don't care. If anybody out there says they like an episode, but there's nothing that they don't like about it, I feel like you're lying to yourself. No matter what it is, there's always going to be something, even if it's the tiniest nitpick, you're not going to like it. I can guarantee you that. Go back and look at all your favorite episodes. You'll probably find something that you don't like. But I think it was a great starting point, great characters, great casting, very well handled. If I had to give this episode a ranking, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. I know you're probably thinking I'd give it a 10, but for me, this would an episode for me, in order to get a 10, it has to be like unbelievably incredible, knocking it out of the ballpark. To me, as of right now, with this episode and all other episodes of thinking right now, I don't think there's ever been an episode of The Walking Dead that I'd give a 10 to. Overall, though, still very much enjoyed this episode, and it's a great episode, 9.5. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about this episode in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, that's my retro review of The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1, Days Gone By. As always, let me know how you feel about this kind of type of video with the retro reviews. Do you want me to see more of these? I plan to do the remainder of the first season right now, but let me know how you feel about them. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon. That way don't miss more Walking Dead content from me in the future. This has been Vision here with Blind Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.